Murad, do you have any questions on that?
No.
Okay, you still understand your rights?
Yes.
This is Murad Dervish, who, after being expelled from the University of Arizona, returned to campus and fatally shot Professor Thomas Meixner 11 times.
You wanted to kill her?
Yes.
This is Philip Chism, who at the age of 14 brutally raped and murdered his math teacher.
That I had company. So if I had company, that I had company. So that means by 8 p.m. I was at my house. And I know he had been sitting there at least 5 minutes when I got that call.
And this is Carla Ann Hughes, a teacher by profession who committed 2 murders. Let's dive into the details of these shocking cases.
Taylor, Officer Hendricks.
I didn't know the car was stolen.
Okay, it's not stolen yet. Okay, but the owner was found deceased. That's where we're at.
This is Taylor Cynthia Elkins, a 22-year-old resident of Fort Smith, Arkansas, who was convicted for the brutal murder of 72-year-old William DuBois Jr., a retired teacher and substitute educator who had dedicated over 46 years to the Fort Smith Public Schools. The incident occurred in July 2019, shocking the local community. On July 11, 2019, concerned neighbors requested a welfare check at DuBois' residence on Greenwood Avenue after noticing his absence for several days. Upon entering the home, officers discovered DuBois' dead body in the bathroom. He had suffered multiple blunt force injuries to the head, with an autopsy revealing 27 impact sites. The crime scene indicated a violent struggle, and several items, including DuBois' red 2013 Ford Focus and 2 televisions, were missing. The investigation quickly led authorities to Elkins, who was found in possession of DuBois' vehicle.
I don't pay attention to him. Like, he ain't nothing to me.
He's been beat to death, and you're driving the car. I don't know that you ain't got something to do with it.
Initially, Elkins provided inconsistent statements regarding how she acquired the car, claiming at first that a man gave it to her, and later stating that DuBois had given it to her in exchange for sexual favors. Further investigation revealed that Elkins had pawned 2 televisions matching the description of those missing from DuBois' home. Additionally, Elkins' grandfather, who lived next door to DuBois, reported that Elkins had confessed to him about assaulting DuBois, stating she had knocked him in the head. During police interrogations, Elkins' accounts of the events were inconsistent. In one version, she claimed to have devised a plan to rob DuBois, involving another individual referred to as Joe. However, evidence did not support the involvement of another person. While in custody, Elkins reportedly told another inmate that she became angry when DuBois said he didn't have any money, prompting her to attack him with a hammer, which she later discarded by the roadside.
I am.
I brought this in here to show you. You see that question that says R5?
Mm-hmm.
And that big spike on it?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you were telling us a lie. You were lying to me when I asked you in the test, were you present when he was attacked?
Not when he was killed. But attacked, maybe, not killed.
When I ask you, did you kill him? Your reading is stronger than that.
Elkins was charged with first-degree murder on October 9, 2019. To avoid a potential life sentence, she entered a negotiated guilty plea and was sentenced to 40 years in prison on January 16, 2020. Under Arkansas law, she must serve at least 70% of her sentence, equating to approximately 28 years before becoming eligible for parole. Throughout the court proceedings, Elkins did not offer an apology or explanation for her actions. Despite this, DuBois' family expressed forgiveness, with his wife, Susan, stating, "I don't hate her. I can't hate her. I believe in God, and God has seen us through."
She's still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed San Diego. It's a nice town. I spent quite a bit of time there. Okay, you said you don't want to answer my questions.
Then you don't have to answer my questions, I guess.
This is Murad Dervish, who was a graduate student at the University of Arizona, enrolled in the master's program in atmospheric sciences. His academic journey, however, was marred by confrontations and disputes, particularly concerning his academic performance. These issues escalated, leading to strained relationships with faculty members and culminating in his expulsion from the university in early 2022. On October 5, 2022, a tragic event unfolded at the University of Arizona's campus. Thomas Meixner, the esteemed head of the Department of Hydrology and Atmospheric Sciences, was in his office when Dervish, who had been expelled months earlier, entered the building. Disguised with a surgical mask and baseball cap, Dervish approached Meixner's office and, without warning, opened fire. He discharged 11 rounds from a 9mm handgun, striking Meixner multiple times. Despite immediate medical attention, Meixner succumbed to his injuries. Dervish's relationship with the university had been tumultuous. After receiving a poor grade, he exhibited aggressive behavior towards faculty members, leading to multiple reports of harassment and threats. In response, the university barred him from campus in January 2022 and subsequently expelled him. A flyer with his photograph circulated among university staff, instructing them to contact authorities if he was seen on campus, particularly near the John W. Harshbarger building where Meixner's office was located. Following the shooting, Dervish fled the scene. Authorities initiated a manhunt, and approximately 3 hours later, Arizona state troopers apprehended him over 120 miles northwest of Tucson. A loaded handgun, matching the ammunition used in the shooting, was found in his vehicle. The trial commenced in May 2024. Prosecutors presented evidence highlighting the premeditated nature of the crime, noting that Dervish had purchased the handgun a month prior to the incident. Witnesses testified about his disguise and his direct approach to Meixner's office on the day of the shooting. The defense argued that Dervish was experiencing a psychotic episode, citing his history of mental health issues, including psychosis, autism with schizoid features, and clinical depression. They contended that he was unable to distinguish right from wrong at the time of the incident. After deliberating for less than 3 hours, the jury found Dervish guilty of first-degree murder and 5 other felony counts, including aggravated assault. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the aftermath, the University of Arizona faced scrutiny over its handling of the threats posed by Dervish prior to the shooting. The Meixner family filed a $9 million notice of claim against the Arizona Board of Regents, alleging that the university's failure to address the risks led to Meixner's death.
Fenced commercial yard or residential yard belonging to University of Arizona on or about the 5th day of October 2022 while knowingly possessing a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument.
In January 2024, a settlement was reached wherein the university agreed to pay $2.5 million to the Meixner family. Additionally, the university committed to establishing an endowed professorship in Meixner's name and providing mental health resources to affected faculty, staff, and students.
We're going to have a 0 in this class right now. I got so mad.
This is Philip Chism, a 14-year-old high school freshman who, on the outside, seemed like any other quiet teenager. But on October 22, 2013, in Danvers, Massachusetts, Philip committed a crime so horrific that it shocked an entire community. His victim, 24-year-old Colleen Ritzer, a beloved high school math teacher who had dedicated her life to helping students. On that day, Colleen Ritzer stayed after school to help students with their work, including Philip. Security footage later revealed that after their session, Philip followed Colleen into the second-floor girls' bathroom, an area students typically avoided after hours. Once inside, he brutally attacked her. Using a box cutter, Philip slashed Colleen multiple times, inflicting fatal wounds. As if that wasn't horrifying enough, he also sexually assaulted her before placing her body in a recycling bin. He then wheeled the bin outside, dragging it through the school's back doors and into a wooded area behind the school. There, he left her body, partially covered with leaves. After the attack, Philip changed his clothes, went to a movie theater, and watched Blue Jasmine, a film starring Cate Blanchett. Meanwhile, Colleen's family grew worried when she never came home. That same evening, Colleen was reported missing. A search began, and soon, school surveillance footage revealed the disturbing truth. Philip had followed her into the bathroom, but she never came out. Police quickly located Philip walking along a highway. He had a backpack containing Colleen's credit cards, a change of clothes, and the murder weapon, a blood-stained box cutter. When officers questioned him, his calm demeanor was unsettling. He admitted to the crime but showed no emotion. During his police interrogation, Philip spoke in a cold, detached manner. He admitted that he killed Colleen because she had triggered him. When asked what she had done, he claimed she had mentioned Tennessee, a topic that supposedly upset him because it reminded him of his parents' recent divorce. The officers pressed for more details, but Philip remained eerily indifferent. He provided no real explanation for his actions, offering only vague statements that lacked remorse. This lack of emotion disturbed both investigators and the public once the footage was released. Philip Chism was charged with first-degree murder, aggravated rape, and armed robbery. Given the severity of his crimes, prosecutors pushed for him to be tried as an adult. During the trial, the defense attempted to argue that Philip suffered from severe mental illness, claiming he was in a dissociative state during the murder. They presented expert testimony suggesting that he might not have fully understood his actions. However, the prosecution countered this argument by pointing out how methodically Philip planned his escape, changed his clothes, and even used Colleen's credit card after the murder. These were not the actions of someone unaware of what they were doing.
Time goes by might help us to understand what happened to this 14-year-old youth. Not only to understand what happened to him, but to ensure that he won't hurt anyone ever again. The Commonwealth seems to rely heavily on his failure to take medication one morning when he was being released from Worcester State Hospital to return to court, to suggest some strategic taking or refusing of medication.
In December 2015, the jury found Philip Chism guilty of first-degree murder, rape, and armed robbery. Because he was under 18, he was not eligible for a life sentence without parole. However, he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years.
That's exactly what was said. He was like, did you get over here? Somebody hurt Avis. I didn't ask him then if he got called to police. He didn't say that he had.
River. Did you hear anybody in the background?
Carla Ann Hughes, born on June 12, 1981 in Greenville, Mississippi, was adopted by her uncle Carl and Aunt Linda Hughes when she was 6 weeks old. Raised in a supportive environment, Hughes excelled academically, earning 2 master's degrees and a PhD. She pursued a career in education, becoming a language arts teacher at Chastain Middle School in Jackson, Mississippi. In the summer of 2006, Hughes began a romantic relationship with fellow teacher Keon Pittman, despite his engagement to Avis Banks, a 27-year-old daycare worker who was 5 months pregnant. Pittman and Banks shared a home in Ridgeland, Mississippi, and were planning their wedding. Hughes and Pittman's affair was well known among their colleagues, with Hughes reportedly introducing Pittman to friends as her future husband. On November 29, 2006, tragedy struck when Pittman returned home to find Banks lying in a pool of blood in their garage. She had been shot 4 times, in the leg, chest, and head, and stabbed multiple times in the face and neck. Their back door appeared to have been forcibly entered, suggesting a violent confrontation. Initially, suspicion fell on Pittman due to his affair with Hughes. However, the investigation soon shifted focus to Hughes. A pivotal moment came when Hughes' cousin revealed he had lent her a loaded .38 caliber revolver and a knife shortly before the murder. Ballistics tests confirmed that the bullets retrieved from Banks' body matched the revolver. Additionally, Hughes returned the gun to her cousin unloaded after her initial police interview.
As all young women do, and those who are here who have children, we all have struggles. And she has so much to give.
My thing to you is, I'm not asking you, I'm pleading with you to spare my daughter's life.
Don't forget, there's 2 people here that have already had the death penalty imposed.
Further evidence implicated Hughes. Shoe prints at the crime scene matched a pair of shoes owned by her, and cell phone records placed her near the Banks-Pittman residence at the time of the murder. These findings led to Hughes's arrest on December 8, 2006, on 2 counts of capital murder, one for Banks and one for her unborn child. The trial commenced in October 2009. Prosecutors argued that Hughes, driven by jealousy and a desire to be with Pittman, murdered Banks. They presented evidence linking Hughes to the crime, including the murder weapon, shoe prints, and cell phone data. Pittman testified about his affair with Hughes but denied any involvement in the murder. The defense sought to cast doubt on Pittman's credibility, portraying him as a womanizer who might have had motives to harm Banks. They suggested that Pittman could have used Hughes's belongings to frame her. However, Hughes chose not to testify in her defense, and the evidence against her remained compelling. After 8 hours of deliberation, the jury found Hughes guilty on both counts of capital murder on October 13, 2009.
All right. Y'all may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, in any case where a jury is reached, it is customary for the judge to poll the jury to see if the verdict is a unanimous verdict. And that is done by looking at each member of the jury and asking them whether or not the verdict that was reached was their verdict. And the way I deal with that is I deal with count 1 first, and
during the sentencing phase, Hughes's parents pleaded for her life, highlighting her positive contributions and character. The jury ultimately sentenced her to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, sparing her the death penalty. Carla Hughes is currently serving her sentence at the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility near Pearl, Mississippi. The case remains a tragic example of how jealousy and betrayal can lead to devastating consequences, affecting countless lives in the process. So which of these cases is most shocking? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe for more content.